too quickly. Boom. What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are a talk show, and we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and you can call in at any point during the live show, and we can talk about whatever you want. Good stuff, bad stuff, evil stuff, God stuff, whatever. I'm here for it on the name of Jesus. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. The link is in the YouTube description, or go directly to the YouTube live chat. Hit the super chat button. Boom. Send your question or comments there. I'll read them live on air. And as they come in, the best that I can. Just like right now, Carver531 with the super chat out the gate. And now the thrilling conclusion. The Lost Boy Part 2. The Lost Boy Part 2 today. Carver is referring to yesterday. I told a story about the Lost Boy. Little did my audience know that the Lost Boy was me. I was a poor little lost boy. Broken boy. So that's what Carver is referring to. Today, Lost Boy Part 2. Not really. But you never know. Thank you, Carver. I appreciate the super chat out the gate. Since we're doing super chats and we're on a roll, let's do one that I missed from yesterday. Colby bought a donut on buymeacoffee.com. A donation, a donut in the form of a donation, but not a real donut. I commend you on your patience. Keep leading by example. Right on, Colby. Praise God. Praise God. Amazing stuff. Appreciate it, Colby. Appreciate the love. And I think that's good for yesterday. Right on. Let's get into it. Let's get right to it. Shout out to YouTube, IG, and Facebook. We are live on YouTube, IG, and Facebook. You can call in, you guys, wherever you're watching. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We are not live on X anymore because X, you gotta be a premium Xer. X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm not a premium. I'm not a bougie Xer. So I'm no longer live on X. But it's all good. We still making it happen. Linya and Chin with the super chat out the gate. I'm reading super chats that are coming in on YouTube right now for the other platforms that don't know what I'm talking about. Lenient Chin says, remember the time you, Jesse Hake, and I were slaves back in 1776 when they upgraded us to 3/5 human and you opened a prancing class for white people? Those were the good old days when men were men. Yep, I remember. Those were the good old days. Life just made sense. Everything was in order. There was no feminism. There was no toxic masculinity. Life was just lifing. I remember Lin Yan Chen. Take us back. Right on. Appreciate it. LYC. Right on. Let's get to it. Let's cut to the chase. I have some stuff I want to show you guys, and then I'll get to some calls. There are some lines open here. I see callers on the line already. Give me a second, callers. I will get to you in a second. Let me just lay the groundwork for today's topic. So you guys see the title. And the title is what? The War in the Mind. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I saw some movies. You guys know me in movies. You guys know I would love to watch me some movies. And it made me start thinking of this topic. Right? And I was thinking like, wow, our entire problem, all of our problems and conflict, every single last detail, down to the very little thing, any problem we have is in the mind. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It doesn't exist to any other people unless it's existing in their mind, right? But it doesn't exist anywhere else besides the mind. It's not even in the body. It's not even in the heart. It's not in the spirit, the soul, nothing. It's just in the mind, the problems and the conflict, right? And it's really that simple. But, you know, as we're overcoming, we get lost in the mind and blah, blah, blah. We listen to the lies and the whispers of the enemy. And I just wanted to make sense of that because I watched this movie. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's called Machine Gun Preacher, right, with Gerard Butler. So good. So good. And basically, you guys know I be spoiling movies, and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit what it's about, okay? So Machine Gun Preacher is about this guy who's really angry guy, just upset, just angry at life, right? Gets out of jail, and as soon as he gets out of jail, you would think he would try to make his life right, but no, he goes back to his hillbilly place. He's a hillbilly in the country, him and his wife and his daughter, and he's angry again still. And then he gets in some more trouble again, and he realized, you know what, I got to get my life together. And his wife, according to the movie, forces him to get baptized. She didn't force him, but she was kind of imposing it in the movie. And then he gets baptized and then finds his purpose, which is to serve the African kids in Africa. So he goes and does that. But while he's over there in Africa, he sees the civil war that's happening at the time. And he can't handle what he's seeing. It's so evil and he's overreacting to it, right? In his mind. So all that anger and stuff that he had released or let go of, right? Because he was baptized and he was trying to be better, all that like animosity, it starts to come back because now he's dealing with evil over in Africa. So now he has this anger and stuff again, which it never left, right? It was still there. But now he has it again. And now he's taking it back out on the enemies of the African place, the nation. Trying to save the baby, save the children. So what happens is it sends him back into darkness. And it's so interesting. I'm going to just stop it there as far as explaining the movie. But it's so interesting that that's how the mind works, right? Saying the enemy in the mind gets tricky that way. Because what he's doing is he's making you think that your anger is productive. Now making you think that that energy that you have to your revenge is in the right place because you're killing the enemies. You're killing the evil ones. And it makes you kind of want to justify it in your mind. Well, at least I'm doing it in the name of God. But no, he was back in darkness. And you kind of see it like unfold in the movie. It's a great movie. You guys should watch it. It's kind of older. Not that older, but not new. And it was so interesting how he was convinced that the anger was justified, but everybody else around him was like, dude, calm down, dude, you're tripping. But in his mind, he was thinking he was doing the right thing. But the point is, he sees the light. And that's all I'll tell you. You got to go watch it yourself. But it's all in the mind. It's literally all in the mind. And the enemy makes us believe all these things. And what the enemy really does is he doesn't make us believe it. He just offer up in our imagination the judgment of it. Meaning like the information, whether it's an image, whether it's a word, a thing, person, place, or thing. He whispers it, or he shows it in your mind, in your imagination, and then we make a judgment about it. He doesn't do the judging. We make the judgment. We say, that's good, or that's bad. And as soon as we do that, we identify with right and wrong. And that doesn't exist. That's the knowledge of good and evil. So then when we identify it as right, then guess what? We take revenge on what's wrong. And we identify it as wrong, we feel the pain and conflict and all that stuff, and now we just want to be right. But none of it even matters. There should be no feeling, there should be no up or down, there should be no right or wrong within. But the mind is playing the tricks. It's all in the mind. So I thought that was interesting when I seen Machine Gun Preacher. But it didn't stop there. It did not stop there. Oh, CG said I gave too much info for the movie. I don't think I spoiled it that time. Usually I get into the details. Maybe I did. I can't help it. Sorry, CG. But, so then, that was Machine Gun Preacher. And then I seen another movie. Lord have mercy. I seen Barbie. Lord have mercy. That movie is so stupid. I ain't never seen a movie so crazy. Now, there's a chance that, I know this is not the case, but there's a chance that I'm missing the point of the movie, but I'm not missing it. But there's a chance. And Lord have mercy, I remember how I was waiting a long time ago when the movie first came out in the theaters, Barbie. I was going to see another movie, and while I was waiting for that movie to start, I snuck into another movie theater. Ooh. That's not godly, Joel. Anyway, I snuck into the movie, and it happened to be Barbie. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like a bad movie. This might be kind of good. And I watched like 10 minutes of it and left. And then over the past weekend, I watched in full. Why'd I do that? I should have left it nice and sweet in my mind, the little bit I seen. But I watched the full movie. Lord have mercy, it was a mess. Just a mess. Let me show you guys real quick. It stars Margot Robbie and what's that guy's name? Not Ben Affleck. The guy from The Notebook. What's his name? Ryan Gosling. And Ryan Gosling. We're going to have to pray for Ryan Gosling in this movie. Because there's like a weird scene. He has like this interaction with I won't even say it. And it was weird. It wasn't a woman. And I was like, he didn't do anything inappropriate with her, but come on, Ryan. If you watching, you know you should have been up there doing that. Interacting like that, man. You know. You let your manhood go on that one. But we forgive you. But anyway, it was just a mess. And what Barbie is about, just briefly, because I'm going to play some clips. I got some clips to show you guys a little bit, right? It's all about like making the sexes equal and women have it so hard and men have all the privilege and it's just not fair. That's what Barbie was about. And I have a couple clips I want to play you because there are some very interesting things that were said. And I want to show you. So this first clip is like in the middle of the movie of this girl like ranting about how she feels it's like to live in the world as a woman. And this is from YouTube. Here we go.
Being a human can be pretty uncomfortable.
Not that one. This one.
Beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like, we have to always be extraordinary. But somehow we're always doing it wrong. Like, you have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood, but always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged, so find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people...
Lord have mercy. And that's basically the gist of what the movie's about. And let's just say, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the people who wrote this and the people who, not even just that, let's shout out the people who believe in this, because that's okay. You have the right to believe what you want. You have different experiences. So you may think that this stuff is true. And I'm not, who am I to say that it's not true, right? That's what you believe. Every man is justified by their own belief. Man and woman. That's fine. But let's just say any of it's true or not. The point that I'm trying to make here is all that fuss, whether a man is doing it or a woman's doing it, oftentimes it's women doing that type of fussing. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Like, nobody cares, lady. Nobody really cares about your problem. Nobody cares that you feel that way. Nobody wants to hear it. And it's just complaining. And you're wrestling with yourself. It's not the world's problem. It's not the man's problem. It's not society's problem. it's your own problem. You're wrestling with your thoughts. You're wrestling with the enemy in your mind. And I think that people want us to feel sorry. You know what I mean? And that's not your answer. But the point is that all of this is in the mind and not where it's supposed to be. Now, I have a grand point that I'm going to make about this that is so important. So do not leave. Stay tuned in because I'm going to play another clip and then I'm going to make that point. So wherever you're watching, bear with me. We're going to make the grand point, but I want to play one more clip for you guys because this next clip here is of the actual founder of Barbie, the lady who created the doll from scratch, or maybe had the idea or whatever, right? She is actually in this scene I'm about to show you guys, and she talks about the patriarchy. I thought that was so interesting. So we're gonna play that. Here we go.
Being a human can be pretty uncomfortable.
I know.
Humans make things up like patriarchy and Barbie just to deal with how uncomfortable it is.
I understand that.
And then you die.
Yeah.
So this scene right there shaped my whole show. That older lady was the lady who invented Barbie. This whole scene shaped my whole show because she says that the world makes up things like the patriarchy, right? And this is what I realized, that most of the entire world, not all, right? A lot of women, mostly women, right, that have a problem with the patriarchy than men do, right? Because the women think that it benefits the men and not the women. That's not true, but that's what they think. But I understand. And the reason why this shaped my show is because the patriarchy is not the problem. And now how I define the patriarchy is I see it as the order of God, right? That men lead and women follow, right? And the order of God in Christian terms, biblical terms, is like God over Christ, Christ over man, man over woman, woman over children, right? There's an order, right? And that's what I believe the patriarchy to mean. And most of the world truly believes that the patriarchy is the problem, right? And this is why we see all these feminist movements. This is why we see all these women becoming career women, pastors, doing men jobs and trying to take over the world, right? This is why we see it, in my opinion. And it's because they're trying to break away from the patriarchy because they don't believe in it. And what I realize is that it's not that they don't think it's true. The patriarchy is real. It's not that they don't think it's real. It's that they just don't know how to walk it out. That's the only problem. That's the only problem. They don't know. They don't truly understand what it means. They don't know how to walk it out. And when they try to do it, they fail miserably, just like everybody would when you try to do something that you don't understand, right? So what happens is this order, they're trying to do it in their mind. They're wrestling with it in their mind. Well, I got to be a housewife, right? And this is where I think the women fell away from the patriarchy, right? Because after a while, it started becoming like habitual. Instead of the laws of the heart, the covenant of the heart, it became like the rules of the mind. Well, they say that a woman should be in the kitchen. They say that a man should work. So the woman and the man just start working because they're taught that's what you should do. But this is not something you're taught. This has to be understood. So the women don't understand it, so they can't follow it. And that's why they're falling away. But the battle is not the patriarchy. The battle is in your mind. It's because you've been trying to solve all your problems here when God has to reveal it here in the spirit, right? But many people don't know God. Many people don't understand what this means. Why, you ask? Great question. Is because poor examples. They're raised in a household where the father is either not there or not strong example. And even if he's there, it's better than him not, and he's a weak example, it's better than him not being there in general. But if father's not there, and the mom's either controlling the show, she's running the whole show, and there's anger and resentment in the house. Poor examples. Poor examples. They're not raised properly. Also, they are in a society, or they're around people, or they're in a school or education where they're telling you a bunch of lies and stuff that doesn't exist. Like patriarchy is a made up thing. Like women can do everything that men can do. Like all this, like false things are being fed, right? And they're believing it. Not in here though, in here. And what this does, it pumps up your ego. Yeah, I can do it too. Me too. Yeah, I want to be strong just like the man is strong. I want to be strong just like the man. But you can never be strong like the man because you ain't a man. You could be strong just like a woman. And a woman in her proper order is strong too. But I realize that we all suffer because God's law, we're trying to follow God's law in the mind and not be of his law by him drawing us in, by patiently living life and going through the process and becoming the law in the heart, becoming the covenant. And when that happens, you are the law. That's why I always say we are the Bible, right? We walk it out, and we don't walk it out in effort. We just become it. So it comes out of us naturally. So the man ain't sitting up there like, I got to lead. No, he's just a leader because it came to him naturally. He didn't try to force it. He didn't stick his chest out like the Lost Boy did in the story from yesterday, right? Right? And the woman doesn't have to try to cook and slave in the kitchen because she thinks that she's taught that that's what a woman should do. No, she would do it because she wants to be of service. She sees that that's what's right for her to do. And every situation is different, right? A helper doesn't just mean you're in the kitchen cooking. A follower, following the follower of the man, right? Doesn't just mean, tending to the house. There's different things. That's done. A helper is a helper. But a helper is not a leader. And you actually find more peace when you just find your own way in life, your own role in life. So, yeah, this movie, the Barbie and all that stuff and all these things, it's a battle of the war is in the mind. You trying to walk out life. You trying to find peace. You trying to find love. You trying to do the right thing. If it's in here, it ain't working. It's got to be from here. And then how do you get there? What's the solution? How do you get there? For one, this is for the ladies. You got to open your heart. Because I know a lot of ladies who are like against this stuff. And they're still nice people. Got to keep them at a distance. But they're nice people, though. And I like them, genuinely. But they don't believe in this stuff because they're not open. Because the anger makes you want to fight and reject and resist, but you got to be open to it. You got to be open. Leave your heart open. I'm not saying you got to believe all this stuff and believe everything, but you got to have an open heart, open mind. So that way, if you're wrong, you can discover that. Because nowadays, women are too quick to reject. And you ain't going to find anything rejecting. So the solution is to have an open heart and let God lead and guide you. And then you'll see the next steps to take. Forgiveness is one of them. Stop judging yourself. You know what I mean? Understanding your role as a woman, understanding where you fit in, understanding the path you're supposed to take in life. But you have to start off by being open and honest. So that's the solution. But the cause is God's law went from the heart to the mind, and that's why everybody fell away. And now it has to go back from the mind to the heart. And only God can do that. God got to draw us in, and you can't do 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 3, 3 + 3 = 4. You can't do that because that's not going to solve the problem. And God doesn't work like that. That's not faith. That's not trust. So, why are you guys yelling at me in the chat? Joel, answer the phones. I'm making a point here. What the? A strong, loving father in a home is crucial, Joel. That's right. A strong, loving father. That's just how God did it. I didn't make it up. The world didn't make it up. Christians didn't make it up. God made it up. The man is the head. The man leads. And the man follows as well. Christ. So, anyway. Joel been talking for 45 minutes. You know what? I'm about to end the show right now. I'm about to end this show. I hope my people on Instagram and Facebook are just listening with an open heart, because I got some demons in the YouTube chat. Just ungrateful. The Lord is working right now, y'all. Working through your brother in Christ, and you just want me to get to the phones. All right, I'll get to the phones. And Nick said, that's literally just her head. 100%. He probably sent that earlier, but 1,000%. Let's go to JC at a little. Oh, I do this every single time, and I get yelled at for doing it, and it's not professional. Forgive me, y'all. JC, hold on 1 second. I'm slow, and I didn't realize I have a first-time caller here, and I want to get to the first-time caller here first. Hold on, JC. Ryan, first-time caller out of California. Welcome to the show, Ryan. You're on the air.
How you doing, man?
All is well, Ryan. How's it going?
All right. So I was just calling because I wanted to...
Are you on speaker, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm on speaker.
Yeah, you take me off speaker. I can't hear you properly.
I'm on speaker now. I took you off.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
I just wanted to get your opinion on... Well, really, your opinion. I'm always quizzical and curious of why people always state more about skin color. And these religious people, they always talk about skin color. But God said he's going to come back for a people that means that are holy. not a skin color,
Yeah.
because your skin doesn't have nothing to do with you getting in heaven. God, your true stuff is spirit. So why do people that's ignorant make a lot of bold statement about skin color? It makes no sense to me. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's shallow. It's shallow. To be honest, I always grew up in like mixed areas, like mixed school. And I never, not one time, like probably when I was younger, when I went to a black school, then I started like questioning stuff. But when I went to a mixed school, and even growing up, I never looked at my skin color or thought I'm black and then they're white or they're Mexican. The only time that I was ever concerned is when I had like my cousins or something make fun of me for being darker than they were or stuff like that. But other than that, I never looked at color. I never looked at a color. I just thought it was just like me and them, or just us. And then when I watched movies growing up, even still to this day, when there were good actors and they were white, I never said that's a good white actor. It was just like that's a great actor. So I think people identify with this color thing because it gives them some sense of feel good or importance when they can identify with color. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. But like I said, I just wish people pay attention more to the Bible as opposed to just these other idiots of the humans, because at the end of the day, when you stand before God, you got to stand alone. What everybody else said that you agreed with, that ain't going to get you in heaven. It's what you do, not what everybody else thought and think. You know, you got to stand alone. Mama can't help you. Daddy can't help you. Friends, family, nobody can help you. You got to just help yourself.
100%. And how did you come across? Do you see this on a daily basis, or what made you want to ask this question?
I just see that on a daily basis with these so-called Christians. I had a so-called Christian knock on my door yesterday, 2 of them, and we got into an interesting conversation. So it just happened, not being funny or anything, but I was listening to JFTV Peterson. So they assumed because I'm a black guy, they thought that I was automatically going to agree with them. Even though I live in California, I'm a Republican. I'm not a Democrat, at all. Yeah. And they were shocked by what I was saying. They couldn't believe it. They was almost floored. They was like, "Oh my God, I've never met a person like you before." I was like, "Yeah, well, we do exist. I don't just go along with everybody else's opinion. I'm my own free man, my own free thinker."
And what do you
like that?
And did they call you names, or did they try to call out your skin color? Or?
Oh yeah, they couldn't believe that I wasn't going to vote for that. That woman that's running for the Democratic Party, they couldn't believe that I wasn't going to vote for her. They thought I was a shoo-in, but I'm not. Like I said, my own free thinker.
Yeah, you knocked on the wrong door.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And why do you think, in your opinion, why people put so much importance on color?
Because they're ignorant. Like I said, God, He ain't coming back for a people of color, or white or whatever. He's coming back for your soul and spirit.
Yeah,
that's what you really are. You're really a spirit. The inside is what counts, because it does count. It's not the outside. The outside is just. I was looking at Jesse Peterson show. He had one guy named Daryl, and Daryl made a whole hell of a lot of sense. Your body is just a vehicle or tool just to get around the earth.
Yeah.
What's on the inside is really what counts.
I agree, man. And if we're really being technical, and if you believe in the Bible, then the original mom and dad go back to the original sinners. And who was that?
The devil.
Well, even the ones who started making the babies.
The devil?
No, well, right after Adam and Eve, they're the real mom and pop, and who knows?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
And who knows what color they were? So at the end of the day, everybody's coming from the same place. So people don't want to think about that. Yeah, nobody wants to think about that.
It's too deep for them to think about that.
Exactly. Well, right on, Ryan. How'd you hear about the show?
I was listening to Jesse, so I was. He gave a number out, so I called the number. And that's how I got you guys. So I don't mind talking to you guys.
Nice.
I thought I was going to talk to him, but I didn't know his show come on at 6 to 9.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping that time anyway, because I work tonight.
Oh, okay, I got you. Right on. Well, I
But
appreciate
I am going to start listening to your show.
Right on.
Since you agree and believe in what we believe in, and I'll check you out.
Well, I appreciate it, Ryan, and call me again, man. Thanks for calling.
I will.
All
I
right.
will. Thank you.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah, that stuff is shallow though. Like color, please. It's so. I don't know. It's really a twisted thing, and I guess it's one of those things where you got to be like, okay, well that's just their hang up, because to me, when I think about color and people caring about it, it's so insane to me. Like, it's absolutely insane. Because it's not my hang up, though. It's not one of my thrills at all. Because I literally, like, question how that can even come out somebody's lips that color matters. So, but that's not my thing. So that's why, you just got to be like, well, that's their thing. That's their deadly sin. But it's insane. It makes no sense. God ain't look about the color. Let me see. JC at a Little Rock, Arkansas. Welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Hello, Joey. Oh, my gosh. You got to have a strong stomach and a strong liver to listen to these shows.
There we go.
You're making me want to drink.
Well, listen.
Want to drink.
Well, first things first, let's be thankful that these shows are giving you a thicker skin. Isn't that something to be happy about?
Yeah, let's be thankful that I don't use profanity on these shows. Let's be thankful for that I very much censor myself on these shows. Let's be thankful about that.
Well, I appreciate it. Go ahead.
Do me a favor. Make sure you keep me accountable. I don't want to go too much over time. I know you got people.
Cool.
I want to get to my topic, but I want to talk about what you were saying today.
Yeah.
But first, I want to first of all say shout out to people like Marcus Jones that be in the chat. That's a good man. Hate to unban him. And also, I want to give a shout out to James for having a good show today.
Nice.
Because having Mark versus
James
CJ is something I love. Two idiots fighting against each other. I love that. Okay, so let me get to your topic for today,
Yeah.
then I'll get into why I called in. The Barbie movie is such a beautiful movie. The Barbie movie is great, sir. Like, the person that, created Mattel and stuff, created Barbie, did that to not only let women know that they had to just be mothers and that would be their only option, but that they could be literally anything, a doctor, an astronaut.
Not look like that, though. Not look like that, because you ain't going to be able to do anything you want and look as pretty as Barbie. That never exists and will never exist. But go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. That's also the thing that about the Barbie movie is that Barbie made so much, expectations for women. That's why they showcase that there could be so many different Barbies. There could be a handicapped Barbie, a plus-size Barbie, a black Barbie, a Mexican Barbie, Chinese.
But
it showed so many because Barbie was a lot of people looked at Barbie, they was like, oh, this is the perfection. Her waist is a size 0 and stuff. This is perfection for women. No, that was already a falsified lie. And so this movie was showing it's not just about looking about this standard. It's showing that any woman can do whatever job they want to. But if they, just like in that monologue that you were showing with America Ferrera, if a woman is considered to be too tough, she's looked at as a B word. But if she's too soft, then she's too delicate. There's so many different things that just women and ladies have to say. Even the ladies that I know are going to be disagreeing with me and stuff, they're going to talk about how they're always wanted to be a good mother.
Well, the movie lied too, though, because all the actors and actresses that are casted in these diverse and difference in size and transgender women, and they're not looking like that in real life. These are all cast. These are all the actresses that are casted in these movies are like the prettiest of the pretty, and on top of it, they're done up makeup and the filters and stuff they add to the movie. In real life, these women that are doing these manly jobs ain't looking pretty. They're looking
what's a manly job?
They're
What's a
looking
manly
man.
job? What is this ignorance that you're speaking about manly jobs? What's a manly job, sir?
Anything that has a leadership role in it.
Okay, so there's only one thing for sure that a man can do that a woman cannot. And
If it's
that's,
more than
helping to create the baby.
Well, let me just give it a little specific. Let me give it a specific, and then I want you to get back to that. If it's more than making cookies, it's manly. Go ahead.
Oh, see, that's it, man.
No, I'm playing.
That is ignorant. That's what is it misogyny or is it sexist? That's what we have to ask ourselves.
I'm just playing. But go back to your point.
Am I the only one that like actually calls and call you out to try to correct you? I'm like, I know Maze has called in to correct you. I know
I invited, but nobody calls in. So
like that is shameful for what you're saying. And
but maybe
the sad thing is, you genuinely believe this. Like, you're not being malicious or anything. You genuinely believe that it's up to a woman to really just stay in the kitchen, to be delicate, to not have a say.
No, but can you take my words out of context? Is that I never said in my monologue this morning or earlier, I never said that that's the woman's only job. Her only job isn't just strictly to cook. Her only job isn't just strictly to whatever. Her job is to help the man, especially if she's married. And even if she's not married, she's still created to be a helper. So she can help.
A partnership.
Yeah,
a
but
is a partnership of love.
Okay, but she can work. Let's just say she's not married. She can work, right? A helper can still help out the boss and the CEO who runs the company. They need helpers. They need employees. But for her to now want to
be just regulated to being a secretary instead of being a CEO. Nothing wrong with being a secretary.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's fine if you can want to help out, take on a little bit more responsibility. That can be a helper too. And a woman can actually do that. Let's say her husband runs a business and she helps run the business for her husband as well. There's nothing wrong with that as long as she's being a helper. The point is
but not
women
being the CEO. She can't be the CEO. She can be the secretary, but not the CEO.
No, because
that's what you're saying.
No, because she shouldn't be the CEO because she's not.
Why?
Because it's not in the woman to handle those type of responsibilities. It takes too much.
Ignorant.
No, it's not because it takes too much toll on the woman's mental and her body because she's not built for that type of thing. That's why, and I'm not making this up.
If a woman can go through
let me tell you,
childbirth, if a woman can go through the menstrual cycles and everything that they go through, they are definitely built to do whatever that they wish.
Oh, the answer to this one though, is why is it when men play basketball, they look tough or like rugged? Not all of them. There's some crazy looking men, but they like look tough and da. But when women play basketball, they don't stay looking like women. They also start to look like masculine, strong.
Because they're exerting their bodies, both men and females
but their beauty
exerting their bodies, becoming tired, becoming fatigued.
But why does it look good? Why does it look good on men but not on the women?
I think I'm not surprised. Don't want to answer that because it sounds like you judging.
No, but isn't that the case though? Isn't that the case? Isn't that the case though? Oftentimes we see these basketball players start to look manly. Is that not evident?
I don't necessarily know how to answer that, but I will say this. I think there's something that you should reevaluate when you say man jobs and women jobs, like saying that these jobs can't be done by both genders.
I'm saying they can. No, I'm saying that they can, and I'm not against women doing these things. If you want to go be a career woman, CEO, WNBA player, I'm not against it. I'm actually rooting right on. But what I'm saying is that just don't be mad when you're not happy, you don't have peace, or your face structure starts to change, or you're not as pretty, or people are now making fun of your looks. It's like you're not living out your proper way of living, and you're operating outside of your boundaries as a woman. I didn't make this stuff up. I didn't make it
Outside
up.
your boundaries as a woman.
Yes,
What
because
does that
women are only
mean?
capable, just like you wouldn't, it would be
No,
normal, but
finish
would it
that
be
sentence.
weird?
Women are only capable of what? Finish that sentence.
Women are only capable of doing what God ordained them to do, what their bodies can handle and what their spirit can handle. A man, that's like a man trying to have a baby. It would look weird to the world, but after a while, the world would be like, oh, you know what? It's not such a bad thing. But no, that's not how it's supposed to be. It would be weird to see a man try to open it. I don't even want to get graphic, but to have a
Because
baby.
biologically and scientifically we can't, sir, but you're comparing men trying to give birth to a working woman.
Right, because it's not
ignorant.
because women aren't created to be working like that. It's just not natural.
That's dumb and ignorant, sir.
But
Let
why?
me move on to my next point because I know we got like.
Okay,
2
but let me
minutes
just say
left,
real
so-
quick. No, let me just say real quick, and then you can move on to the point. What is wrong? What is so wrong with a woman accepting that it's not in her to do a thing that a man does? You don't see men trying to do things that women do, or trying so hard to get in the door of womanhood. Why is it so misogynistic to say that women shouldn't be walking in the doors of manhood? Why is that so misogynistic to say?
Why? Well, basically, I feel like you're saying, why is it so wrong that women are given equal opportunities as men, while women have to fight for equal pay as men? That's what I'm hearing you ask me.
No, wait, no, I didn't hear.
That's what I'm hearing you ask me.
Say it again, because I don't know if I was asking that.
Well, that's the thing. The way it's translated to me is, what's so wrong with the woman being equal to a man, having equal rights, equal pay?
But it's not. They don't want equal. They don't want equal because they have equal.
Many women want equal, sir. There was a whole reason why the women's liberation movement happened with Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. There were so many reasons why this happened, why so many women are still fighting today about being a woman. Even in that movie that you just showed, those clips, it was such a breakdown about what women have to deal with and stuff, but then leave it to you, some alpha bro, always trying to bring down women and stuff with your misogynistic, ignorant views. That's not right, sir.
But what if what I'm saying about the order of God is true? Why do I have to be wrong? Is there a chance that maybe there is a way of life that we live and maybe not everybody understands it? Is there a possibility of that?
I do believe that a man should protect the woman. I will always believe that. I will always believe a man should protect any woman. A woman shouldn't have to fight a battle that's dedicated for a man.
Well,
I will always believe that.
Well, why? But why though? Because if she wants equal rights, then she better fight her own battles. But that's what I'm saying. We can't pick and choose what we want to do.
I'm not picking and choosing, sir.
I know, but it's like
one of us is a gentleman and one of us is not.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion. But listen, if a man should be protecting a woman, not if she want to be like me. If she want to be like me, she better protect herself. She better, if somebody beating her up in the alley, but yeah, she wants to not let me open the door because I can do it on my own, then why would I go in there and help her? That's my point.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay,
that's
so
my
you're
point.
mad if I don't know which lady in your life hurt you and stuff, but you can't be saying this to like your mother, to like your sister, to any female member.
If they
of
believe
your
that,
family
if they
with
believe
a
it
true
too,
heart.
if they believe that the things that you say, I'm saying it, and I have said it, because it makes it's not. Everyone has a right to believe that, and I'm not. Who am I to say, oh, you're wrong? You live your life how you want to live, but don't be mad at me for expressing what I believe and saying what I believe. My thing is this: just look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Why aren't men trying to ask for equal rights to women? Why are men asking equal rights to women? Why are men saying that I want to be equal like you? Huh?
We're already seeing, we as men, we're somehow already awarded. There's sometimes a boys club when it comes to us as men and stuff, where we're already looked at as like the dominant race instead of the dominant gender and stuff, that we're the stronger ones and everything. And so we're already looked at as like a superior thing when it should be an equal thing.
I see.
We're taught that. We're taught to masculinity.
I see.
We're
Well, the
taught
thing
that,
is,
and we have to build it.
I understand what you're saying now. Give me 1 second while I make this announcement. Guys, really quick, American Anger Baby is not coming in at 12, so I have a little bit more time to spend on these calls. I am going to get to your other calls here shortly here. I just want to finish up with JC, so be patient, but I'm here a little bit longer past 12. But anyway, JC.
Nice. What they saying in YouTube? Because I know they probably saying something. They always do, and I'm glad you finally said there's some naked activity in the YouTube chat.
I don't want you to
some weak people.
I don't want you to look at chat. I don't want that to feed you.
I didn't look.
Right on. But let me make this point, and then I have some other calls here that are waiting on the line. They want to get in on this mess.
What? On feminism? On feminism?
What
are they going to say?
Well, you have to hear it. But let me just say this really quick, and I'll let you make your comments. Is that you're right in that there are women who are looking at men and they say like, man, how come they get to be the dominant ones? How come they get to be the leaders, right? That is true. That is happening. And in their minds, they're like, I want to be it too. I can be it too. I understand that. But what's happening is what that looks like is jealousy. And that also looks like ignorance, because now you want to do what the man has and do what the man does, but why not do what you have and do what you're supposed to do? Instead, it comes off as jealousy, is that I want that power, or I want that whatever, or this and this and that. And when it's the man being a man, the man doing what the man's job, he's doing his thing. He's focusing on his life. Why can't a woman focus on her life? Why does she want to have what the man has? That's the part I don't understand. Help me understand, JC.
Well, let me appeal to your alpha bro male. Would you rather, if you're competing against something, would you rather beat the best male or the best person for any job, for any position that you're doing? Would you rather beat the best male or the best person?
Oh, that is a great question, JC. I just want to be the best Joel. And the best Joel will be the best.
There are times when I actually see you getting there. I see like there's slight growth, but then you regress, sir. Regress. But I don't know. How do you were a former teacher, a dance teacher, so I know you had like a lot of little girl students. How can you look them in their faces with this mindset? And
well, that's partly why I don't really have a dance studio today, is because it's hard to teach these young kids the way away from being wild and young and free and undisciplined and reckless. So
it's not hard to teach young children when your heart is right, sir.
That's right. They'll follow. Let me make the point. Okay, go ahead. Make your last point, and then I got to move on to callers. Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason I had called was just basically a follow-up of last Thursday, where I said I was going to try to be nice and love my enemies a lot more. And then I heard that Jaime, the unemployed one that calls y'all shows every single day, wanted me to pray for that murderer, Derek Chauvin. And I was like, no, that's just not God-like to pray for the devil in that way. And then I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can still be better. And the whole Sonya Massey thing happened. And I called another show similar to yours, and I just cursed them out. And it felt so good cursing people out. Like, I rarely.
That's not good. It's not supposed to be good to curse somebody out. What the?
Oh, it felt good. It felt good.
JC.
I loved it. It was free. I might start doing it on the daily again because it just felt good.
Not on JFTV.
Oh, I've never cursed on your show.
Okay.
I haven't cursed on your show. But
right, I appreciate it.
It It just felt good. So that was my update from last week. And I thank you for this conversation this week. I want you to look in your heart. So you have a powerful heart that really can be used for good. Because the way that you have a connection with the Lord, it could be used for good, but you like to let it dwell in misogyny and ignorance and sexism and anti-feminism.
Well, I appreciate that because I know that you mean well when you say it. I disagree, but I know you mean that as a compliment, so I appreciate that.
Why do you disagree, sir?
Because it's not true, but I'll end this. I'll say it like this, and then I got to get to the other callers, is that
Yes,
one thing I agree with is that women look at men and wonder, why can I have that same amount of power and glory or whatever they see, and they want that same thing. And I understand that, but I think that what's happening is they don't see that their own glory of God within themselves. So they're looking to what they see instead of trying to find it in themselves. And if they truly understood, and then they reject staying at home or cooking or being a helper to the man or following the man, they reject that, right? Because they're taught that means weakness, that means bad, which is not true, but that's what they're taught. And what happens is they'll try to do it anyways. They'll try to follow and they'll try to get a line and they'll try to cook, and they're miserable doing that. And then their minds are like, oh, shoot, look, I tried it and it ain't working. So this must mean that women aren't just supposed to do this. No, where they made the mistake is that they were trying to do it because somebody told them to do it, not because they understand what a true woman's nature is and how she should walk when it comes to her being of the light, of an example, and God within her. But they don't know that. All they know is this like weird teaching that only comes from the mind. So until they start understanding God and living from the heart, they gonna be doing man jobs, looking manly, staying single, voice getting deep, acne breaking out because they're operating outside their natural nature. So, but I gotta end, JC.
I disagree with what you just said, but say hello to your non-existent wife while you're saying people are staying single doing all that.
I appreciate it, JC. Thanks for calling me. Call me again.
All right, I'm going back to IG.
All right, appreciate it. I am making this up, y'all. I am making this up. Hey, and I can have some details a little off. Hey, don't believe me either. I could be wrong. But listen, I didn't choose to believe this. This is just what I believe in. And I do believe that there's an order of God. And nobody in the order, in the hierarchy, or whatever you want to call it, patriarchy, hierarchy, whatever. Nobody in the order position is higher in value. It's just different in role. No, a woman's position as a follower and a man's position as a leader is not more or less in value, but it's different in role. So the ladies who are mad or wondering why they can't be like the man, then just keep in mind that the man is trying to be like Jesus. It's not that the man gets all the credit and he's just the guy. He's the one. Everybody has to follow him and kiss his feet and be submissive to him. No, has to be submissive to Christ. So it's not like he's just the king. You know what I mean? He also has a path he has to follow. An example he has to learn how to become. But how come y'all ain't thinking about that? How come y'all just like want to be mad at the man and want to do the same thing the men are doing? The men have things they got to follow. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I ain't picking on you. I ain't talking down to you. I ain't none of that. Anyway, we love the women here on the JLP network, Punchy TV. We love the women. We may say a wrong thing here and there and stuff, but we're just trying to spread the truth the way we see it. I'll speak for myself, right? Because I don't want to speak for the other guys, but I believe that to be the same for them. Okay, let's move to calls. Nice call though, JC. I appreciate it. Let's go to Terry. Terry out of Oregon. Hey, Terry, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Okay, hi. How's it going?
All is well, Terry. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm working hard, but I'm taking a break.
Nice.
I loved the Barbie movie and didn't like it at the same time.
Okay.
But I was excited for it. You know, I went and did the whole Barbenheimer the day of, took the day off, went out with my girlies and saw both the films. It was a nice juxtaposition of like masculinity and femininity at the same time, you know. Explain
that though. Explain that. What do you mean by juxtaposition?
Well, Oppenheimer was this
okay. I thought you were talking about Barbie. Was that
masculine kind of film? Barbie was a mess, but it was fun. You know, I grew up playing with Barbies like many girls did.
Yeah,
I loved them. Definitely preferred them to baby dolls. I don't know if that really matters, but they were more imaginative and fun to play with for me as a little girl.
The Barbies
yeah,
were?
Barbies. Yeah, they're iconic in that way because they had so many roles they could do and like different, you know, styles and lifestyles. So it really helped you kind of imagine, being an adult and what it would look like.
Okay.
But yeah, there was a lot in the Barbie movie. Like that ranch you showed was the moment in the film that I disliked the most, where the character played by America Ferrera is tasked with trying to like deprogram the Barbies.
Oh yeah.
Or wake them up after Ken and the other Kens all
try to take Ken Dome or something.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought the Ken character was way more interesting than Barbie, though, overall. And he won an award for it, which people were criticizing, but his character had more of a arc, you know, of change and, like, transformation, I felt that Barbie did.
Interesting. I didn't even notice that part. I did. Oh, go ahead. Make your point.
Well, okay, he starts out as this, like, simp doll that's just, like, has no real identity outside of his relation to Barbie. Yeah. And then he goes to the human world with her, and he sees that, you know, there's this thing called patriarchy.
Yeah.
And the men are more in charge, and people respect him. Like, he's not talked down to, and he starts to see that he's been, like, emasculated, and he wants to get some sense of manhood, but he can't because he's a doll. So he, you know, when they get back to Barbie Land, or he goes back to Barbie Land and he wakes up the other male dolls.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's interesting.
It was interesting that how he discovered it for sure. The only thing the thing that kind of turned me off a little bit, and I could be seeing it wrong, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but is that like they made it out to be that, in the real world, the women are experiencing what the Ken dolls are experiencing in that world, and to where they're being talked down to, and they have no say so, and they just follow orders, and it just wasn't. I don't know. It almost felt like a joke, like we're playing this joke on you to show you that this is how you treat us, so we're gonna treat you like this in the movie. It kind of felt like that. I could be looking too much into it, but it kind of seemed that way. What do you think?
I do think there was some of that, but I also think that the male characters in the real world were really one-dimensional as well.
Oh, okay. Fair
like
enough.
the CEO, he was a moron, and like the woman's husband, I don't remember the character, but the main woman who's the one who drew Barbie into the real world, you know, her husband was kind of, you know, a beta.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I think, there was a lot of sort of, you know, pseudo-feminist propaganda.
Yeah.
Being portrayed throughout, but
yeah,
I really that scene where like so many women were, you know, identifying with that scene. I mean, I felt like just sitting there cringing while it was happening, where she's going off about all of her different complaints about how difficult it is to be a woman, and really it comes down to just women making themselves miserable.
Exactly.
By overthinking. And
exactly.
Yeah. I do think a lot of women, though, because they take on so much, do make themselves miserable. They want to do it all, and, you know, they can't do a good job of anything when they're spread so thin. And we also have this culture where, because women are, you know, I think, like in the example of the family in the film, she's one of the breadwinners of the family. The husband's pretty beta.
Yeah.
She's, you know, in this position of being kind of in a more masculine energy, which makes women miserable.
Yeah.
But her husband also isn't able to, you know, step into his masculinity and lead. So he becomes this kind of like drain on his family in some ways.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of families are dealing with now, and why we have such high divorce rates.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, where do you fall in your belief when it comes to the patriarchy, and that women, because there was a lot that was said between JC and I on the last call when it comes to women in the workforce, or women trying to be CEOs, and them not knowing their role. Like, as a woman yourself, from your perspective, how do you,
woman, Joel.
a working woman at that, how do you view that whole thing, the order and everything?
Well, we've talked about it before. I think the first time I called in, I agree with God's order. That's how life should be structured. That's how a family should be structured. But I haven't seen it much in the real world, you know?
Yeah.
It's something that's kind of like this ideal that I think about and that I know is true, but I don't think people live up to it very well.
And
in the modern world,
why,
and maybe ever.
But in your so you believe in it, but you just don't see it? Or like, when you say you believe in it, are you working towards, do you find yourself gravitating towards that direction, or what is it like for you in your personal life, without explaining too much?
In my personal life, I don't know. I just take every day as it comes and do what's in front of me to do. But I have to work. I have to provide for myself, you know. And I know that God's provided me a job to do that. And I know women have always held jobs of some kind, you know, throughout history. So I don't think much about that so much. But I do think, like, it does affect my dating, you know, and who I entertain. And it does make for somewhat of a lonely life, because a lot of people don't.
Why though? Why does it affect the date? Why does it affect the dating thing? If you guys are just dating, you guys aren't married yet, right? Why does it affect them? Do you tell them? Go ahead.
It affects them when you see that you're not compatible long term with someone, because they're looking for something different.
Like, can you give me an example of what they're looking? Because if you eventually want to do, follow the order, why would they be upset with you in the dating phase if you are telling them like, no, I believe in like, the man working, blah, blah, blah. What bothers them about it?
I don't think they're upset, but I think that they're used to not being in that role with women. They don't see that it's always possible. Either that or they have been in that, they're used to it.
With the leadership role? What role?
Yeah, the
okay.
leadership role or being head of a household, that kind of thing. They haven't seen it. I mean, there's a lot of people from broken homes.
Oh, okay.
So they never saw that in their own home. Actually, I'm from a broken home. I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, I was raised by my father, so I did get a sense of patriarchy, though.
Nice.
Yeah, it is good. But I also, suffered from not having a mother in the home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting. And I'm sure a lot of people are liberal. They have liberal attitudes or ideas, or they're very into it, or they're very they're not. I mean, they may identify as Christians, but they're not really following God.
Following the situation.
Plan or trying to like live up to his ideals too.
Yeah.
So if you're not, I don't know. It's just there's difficulty. Some people are looking more for something more modern, and they even if they identify as Christians, they're not always
Christian. Yeah.
Really.
No, that's for sure. I know that
the
for
real
a fact.
thing.
So would you say, if you don't mind answering, you don't have to answer, but what would you say the problems you have when it comes to guys when dating versus girls? Because for me, the thing is the girl always thinks that I'm like mean or misogynistic type of thing. And it's because obviously I live in LA and stuff like that. But and the women in LA tend to believe more on the liberal side of things. But from the girl's perspective, somebody who is trying to, like you say, you're trying to, find the right way and you listen to the shows. What issues do you run into with the guys? Because guys like to naturally be manly and take care of things or just be like that. What are the issues you're running into with the guys?
I've not found that much in my lived experience. Most men are looking to go home to mama, it feels like.
Oh.
They're mama's boys, a lot of them.
Oh, I see.
A lot of them. Not all, but then, just because you may agree with somebody about, like, certain values doesn't mean that you even are compatible. So that can be a problem, too. Or and then there's also the fact that I've been independent for so long. That is an issue because it's like, if it doesn't feel right, I just, have no problem kind of walking away. And I think, I don't know, it's kind of
like a double-edged sword.
But I do see that too. Like with, I don't know, it's interesting, isn't it? So you're having a problem with like women thinking you're mean or like controlling or like something. And then I'm having the problem where like men just don't want to take that leadership role.
And mama,
they don't see it.
Exactly, it's
They're
mama's
like,
boys.
well, you could work and then I could, not, or I could, but you could, just continue living your life and then maybe we'll have a kid and then, you can continue working. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I can't do it all. And it's like having a kid is the most important thing in the world if you think about it. Like that's the most important job a person is given.
No, it's an entire mess. And not only that, on top of that, I'm hearing that the crazy thing is that I hear from some of my former students that I used to teach, they're young, and they would tell me all the time, I'm like, how do the boys treat you guys in like high school and stuff like that? And they're all like mama's boys too. They're, afraid and weak and all that stuff. And they don't know how to talk to the women, approach the women, or they're looking for one thing out of the women, and then when they see a good girl, they can't recognize it, blah, blah, blah. But then you would think when they get older, it would change, but that's the same thing I hear from like you or other ladies that are saying that the men are still acting the same way. It's crazy.
No, and I date older men too. I sometimes will it's normal, I think, to sometimes date men that are older.
Yeah,
but they'll be decades older than me, and they're still mama's boys.
Yeah, that's you never.
And I'm like, you're old enough to be my dad, and you're acting like my son.
Yeah,
go away.
That's crazy.
I don't need the headache, and I just every day I don't look for it. I just live my life. I let people come into it naturally, and I try to just be present and be as much of a light as I can be, and try to observe and not have any kind of energy that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what God wants for me either, you know, because people, I don't know, I've had people, especially in the chat, they're super mean to me about my age, or the fact that, I used to be a leftist. And, they'll be rather, I don't know, nasty about it.
But I think if I can say really quick, and then I have another question I want to ask you. If I can say really quick, I think you also bring that on and enjoy the back and forth. Am I wrong?
Oh, heck. Not always. Because people, I don't know, I had one woman really coming at me crazy recently. And she was like, you should just marry the first guy that you can and have a kid. And I was like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, the worst advice I've ever heard. And for me, it's if it doesn't happen for me, I'm going to be okay. I'm not stressing about, am I going to get married? Am I going to have kids?
But
at the end of the day, it's
I agree.
God is going to have a life for me regardless.
I agree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying that the mean stuff, I want to just make sure that that, every once in a while somebody in the chat is kind of wants to, and they say oh, I feel bad for Terry. But then the way you respond and the way you go out in the chat, and I'm not even it's not even oh, look at Terry. I don't care. But it's you can't complain because you also dish it out. You also dish it out.
Dish out, Joe?
You say things that
do I go
oftentimes
after anybody else like that?
in the chat. You say you have your moments where you say your things in the chat where you do the snake pit type of stuff. Everybody's doing their thing. But then I also see where you get mad when certain people say certain things about you, and I'm like, okay, well, she's dishing it out, but she can't take it. And then
what am I dishing out?
Well, you say you say your things. You say the things that you want to say in the chat.
For example?
I can't think of a specific example.
I rest my case.
Well, I really don't care. I really don't care what anybody says in the chat. People say all kinds of crazy things, but I do notice that you do get mad about what people say to you. Is that not true?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's annoying and it crosses the line.
Right, but
I don't know what I get. I mean, I don't get mad. I just kind of get done with people.
Right, but
I got,
you don't bring that on? You don't bring that on yourself?
I don't think I bring it on. My light has always triggered people's demons, Joel.
Now you're trolling.
Am I? I can be trolling and be telling the truth, so.
But that's not entirely true, though. I think you're a nice person. I like talking to you, and I don't mind you in the chat. I don't care if anybody gets sneaky in the chat. Of course, people need to not be out of control. But I also be seeing you complaining, Terry, and you be dishing it out. So I just want to make sure you know that you also dishing it out.
I don't start nothing, Joel. I don't start nothing.
Well, fair enough.
But I will finish it.
Well, we know that. We know that. But let me ask you this quick last question, and then I got to move the calls. Do you find that you having to be in a position where you have to work, right? Be an independent woman, and not by force, but kind of by force. There's no man in your life right now, right?
Yeah, and like living with my family would make me crazy.
Right. So you got to be the independent woman. Have you found
appropriate either?
Well, have you found how has that affected you when it comes to talking to people? Like, do you have this independent demeanor that is hard to deal with, which you could be honest about? You speak freely here. It's fine. Or is it like, how do you navigate that when you also realize that as a woman, you got to let the man take the lead? How does that work for you?
I mean, I don't know exactly.
Like, do you struggle with that?
It's not come up that I've ever like had a man that really took the lead.
Okay.
Like really, it's never really been something where it's like, I don't know. Maybe my energy is wrong, but
Do you ever struggle with being independent?
What do you mean?
Like not knowing how to give it up, not knowing how to let it go, not knowing how to let go of control and that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that's something that I've learned, when to let go of control to a certain degree.
Okay.
In life, because there's things that are way out of my control in life that I don't have, any impact on.
Oh, okay. I asked because I know a bunch of ladies, but one specific person, to where when I would if we're doing something, it's a family member, and we're doing something, and let's say we're like moving the bed around, right? Moving the bed around.
Oh no, I don't do any of that, Joelle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a time where
I'm
it's
not
like
that kind
the
of
person.
woman. I don't do hard labor.
Okay.
I have no problem letting people get the door for me. I got no problem letting people pay. I got no problem with any of that. No.
Oh, okay. So you don't jump in and be like, I can do it. I can handle it.
No, I can't do it. I will not do it.
Nice.
I'm not doing it.
Nice. Okay, so are you that lady? Are you that lady that says, "Well, you better do it," to the guy? Expects it?
I don't say it, but I think it.
Well, that's better than saying it.
No, I don't need to say it. But like, if he doesn't do it, if he's not a gentleman, then I'm not interested.
Right, nice. You just write it down.
Because I don't want things that aren't right.
Right. 100%. Why? Go ahead.
How we behave and how we conduct ourselves and the kind of arrangements we make, it matters in the world. It has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So if you accept what you don't want, then you're going to get what you don't want.
That's true. That is true, Terry.
Interesting call. I can't believe we went into my relationship problems. Oh
I know.
God.
I love it.
I guess not really. I didn't bring up anything too personal, but yeah.
I love it. Well, just know.
Good luck out there.
I appreciate you calling in, but just know if they coming at you in the chat, you also going at them. Don't forget, if you learn if we done talked about anything today, I want it to be that, because you be acting sometimes like the victim, Terry.
What? I didn't do anything. All I was doing was having a fun time, expressing myself, and then they come for me.
That's not how life works. Life don't work like that. Life don't work like that.
They didn't like what I said or something.
Life don't work like that.
How I stick out. They don't like that, I got that shine. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
If your little light is shining, it will bring people's demons out.
Okay, well, you keep shining the light.
It does work that way.
You keep shining the light. You keep shining the light, Terry.
Twinkle, twinkle. Okay.
I appreciate
Bye.
your call. I appreciate your call. Thank you for calling. Call me again.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. That is hilarious. Amazing stuff. Got some more calls. We're gonna move the calls because we got time. Amazing stuff. Amazing call. Thank you, Terry, for answering honestly. Appreciate it. I was gonna say something else about the conversation, but never mind. Lord have mercy. Chat going crazy. Let me move the calls. Oh, we got time here. So many things. Let me check the super chats really quick though, because I don't want to miss that. Just in case I don't make it home tonight. Excuse me. You guys hear that? I need me a sandwich. Speaking of sandwiches, where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? I need me a sandwich. JK. Not really, but JK. Kel Samogi, JC and people like him scream equally. They would never in a million years hire a male to babysit their kids. Oh, sorry. JC and people like him scream equality, but they would never in a million years hire a man to babysit their kids. Right. I think what happens is that people, great point, Kel, is that when people think they're treated unfairly, they're not fair people. Because think about it. It's always them trying to defend their side, not be in the middle, not give credit to, but always just trying to protect their side. And that's because, in my opinion, they've identified with it. But if they were truly trying to get to the bottom of the truth, they would understand both sides and they would stand in the middle. But that's not the case. They're mad that they're being, talked down upon, or they're offended. So they just protect their side and say their side is right and look at the other side as the enemy, thinking that they're righteous for it. It's not a fair-minded mind. And oftentimes, anyway. So yeah, 100% Kale. I was going to say something else, but no. Holding my tongue. Just playing. Birdie Bound Brian says, it must be something in the water at Bond because y'all are on fire, or is it in the blood? That's right. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. Well, shout out to the Bond Network. Shout out to Punchy TV. Shout out to JLP. JLP started all this, y'all. Shout out to JLP. He started all this. Studio, all of it. He paved the way. So shout out to JLP and the other guys on the Punchy Network. The American Anchor Baby, Nick. The Hake Report, James. And Joel Friday TV. Amazing stuff. Appreciate the shout out, Birdie Bound Brian. Appreciate the love. Thanks for the super chat. Nice. Let me go to, let's see here. Let me go to first time caller, Devin out of Missouri. Other callers, give me a second. I will get to you. Stay on the line. Be patient. I will come to you in a second here. 888-775-3773. Devin out of Missouri, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi. I'm glad to talk to you. I just wanted to call in. I'm trying to spread a message, trying to spread a word. So my thing is basically, in media, in the media, in the entertainment industry, everything that is being displayed, everything that is before our eyes, even the Sonya Massey shootings, I believe is God's way of trying to show us the one true fight is good versus evil. It's not black versus white, rich versus poor, man versus woman. It's good versus evil. You see, even in government, they have one side who's wanting to not even say the name Jesus. They blur out the name Jesus on clothing. They want to get rid of prayer out of schools. They are against the 10 Commandments being displayed on the wall. It's like very antichrist.
Yeah.
And then you have another side who proudly and loudly Jesus Christ, gives them all glory. So it's like an agenda here, an antichrist versus pro-Christ agenda. That's in the government. And then we see how the music industry and the entertainment industry, we have the internet today. Back in the day, they didn't have the privilege of the internet. All they could wait on is Channel 9 News. Well, here today, we have the internet. So we're privy to a lot of things that go on in the background that we weren't in the past. So we can see things like the Sonya Massey shooting. And what do you know? It's nationwide. And her last words were, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And that man felt that. That disturbed his spirit. It triggered his spirit, the name Jesus. And so it triggered his spirit so much that he killed her immediately. I believe that was God's way of showing us.
Allegedly, but go ahead.
He allegedly what? Allegedly killed her?
No, just allegedly that's what triggered her spirit. I just have to say allegedly when it comes to these stories because I haven't seen it and I just don't know how much of it is true, but I'm taking your word for it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. No, I understand. But yeah, so she said those words though. She really, she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. She wasn't a threat to him physically or earthly, but spiritually, obviously, he felt threatened. He was very triggered. And so he did what he did because of that reason. So I feel like that was God's way of showing everybody in the world in real time spiritual warfare. Everybody talks about spiritual warfare, good versus bad, and all of that. But that was real time. That was real time spiritual warfare right in our face.
Okay, so what, because I'm trying to understand, what is the point that you're trying to make about this whole thing? Is it about the video? Is it about good versus evil? Like, where are you trying to go with it?
Yep, like I said initially, good versus evil. The point of all of this, everything that's being displayed in front of our face, whether it's government, music, movies, commercials, entertainment, or something like the Sonya Massey shooting, the purpose behind all of it is good versus evil. God is trying to show us good versus evil. Spiritual warfare. That's the purpose.
And is there do you have a question about it, or you just wanted to? I'm just trying to respectfully. I'm just trying to understand the purpose of the call. Are you asking me a question, or are you just calling to say that about the video? Or I'm a little confused.
The video was just one part of what I said. That was just an example because it was so blatantly spiritual warfare in real time with the words that she chose and the way he responded to those words. So I used the video as an example, as one example. I also talked about government and other things that display the good versus evil agenda that is very clear in our world. So I'm calling not to ask a question, to make the statements that I've made, and I just want a lot of people to open their eyes and see that all of this pettiness about black versus.
So what it sounded like is you just called so you can get off what you had to say about it on the airwaves on my YouTube channel with hopes to wake people up, and that's not why you call the show. You had an agenda when you called in.
Well, I called Jesse Lee Peterson's show. I didn't even know you. I was put into your platform because that's who answered. So if you are feeling offended or disrespected,
no, I'm not offended. I'm just saying that. No, I'm saying.
I mean, it's okay. I didn't.
No, but I'm saying, but are you realizing that you called in just to get off your points about it, but nothing to do with me? Like, I'm not even in the picture. It seems like here you just called to say it's a good versus evil and
Well, before he connected me, I asked him about you. I asked him about you and what you guys were talking about because I didn't want to come on here and be off subject. Those are my exact words. He chose to put me through. So he obviously understood what my point was and felt like it was good enough for me to be put through. But if you don't, then y'all need to talk about that before he puts people through.
I just want you, no, I'm just saying, I just want you to know that it just sounds like you came on the show right now just to share your point of view about the video and all that stuff, but not to talk to the host or understand what the topic was today, but more so to wake people up with your message. And if that's the case, then you're not displaying good on the side of good versus evil. That's an agenda. And wouldn't you consider an agenda as evil? And I'm not calling you evil. I'm just saying that. Wouldn't you see that? Do you see the point that I'm making here?
No, I don't. No, I don't have an evil agenda. I do have an agenda, and it's just to spread that word versus good versus evil.
But why? But why are you using my show to do it? Why don't you make your own YouTube channel?
Well, as I said, I didn't know I was calling your show. I thought I was calling Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't even know you. Yeah. Right. God chose to put me through to you, and I told him that. I told him I didn't know you.
Right.
Put me through. So talk to your person who puts the people through before they get to you.
Well,
that's something between y'all.
Well, I'm just saying that the way you're going about it with the agenda you think is a good agenda, and you may mean well, but it's coming off. Let me just use this platform to, whether it's me, Jesse Lee Peterson, whoever, just to spew off what I believe is right or wrong. Let me make my point though. Let me make my point. Hold on. Is that's what you're doing, and that's not of good. That's an agenda, and you have a plan to come onto the show and spew off your stuff.
So a pastor who spreads the word about Jesus is not of good?
That's not.
How is that not of good? I'm just spreading a word.
You're not spreading the word. You have an agenda that you're trying to get off on my show or Jesse's show.
But you keep making it about you. I didn't call you.
It's my show.
I called Jesse. Jesse talks about good versus evil all the time. So I thought I was talking to Jesse. I thought I was calling Jesse. This is the number on his platform. If you go to Jesse Lee Peterson, this is the phone number. Right. So I thought I was calling him. He talks about good versus evil all the time. So this would have been perfect for his show. I didn't know I was calling you. And I told that to your person. Yeah. He transferred me to you. He still transferred me to you. So you can get together with your person. I explained all of this to your person. I told him what I was calling about. I asked him who you were. I asked him what you guys were talking about on your show so I wouldn't be off subject. He still connected me to you.
Right.
So you need to take that up with your person.
No, it's not about, you're still missing the point, though. I'm just saying that the way...
I'm not. You're missing the point. And I'm done.
Okay. That's a perfect example. Devin is a perfect example, and nothing against her. She may mean well, and I told her that. I'm not judging her. I'm not saying, I know that she probably means well, but that's another setup that she's doing right there, in my opinion. Is she thinks that she's calling in to spread the good word of God, but she wasn't calling my show or Jesse's show to have a conversation. She just wanted to get the word out on the platform. You know what I mean? So she's saying all this stuff, and she's bringing up the video that I didn't ask about. She's doing all this stuff because she even started off the call. She said, I just want to tell your listeners. So that was kind of a red flag there, but I let it go. And then no question for me or even no dialogue with me. You know what I mean? And she's not realizing that she has an agenda that's not of good. It's not of God. Because you don't go on somebody's platform just to spew off your beliefs. That's not why you call into a show. Let me just go on his platform so I can wake up his followers. What the? He has a following. So let me just use this to wake up the following. No, have a conversation. Right? But even if that was your intention, Devin, that's not how it was coming off. It wasn't coming off as proper. It wasn't coming off as of God, spreading the word. It wasn't on no fellowship. You had an agenda. So that's all I'm saying is for you to recognize that because I pretty much could have walked out the studio and you just would have took over the show just saying your stuff. And then there's really no point for you to call into the show if that's the case. Do your own show. So, but she didn't want to hear my point that I was trying to make. She took offense, and she's talking about not taking offense, but she took offense. But you may mean well, Devin, so ain't no hate or no put down, but I would check your agenda. You don't want to be out here preaching. Let me move the calls. Let me go to Eddie. Says she wanted to preach. She wanted to preach. You know what I mean? She wanted to preach and she wanted the ears. And that's not genuine. Jamie out of Minnesota. Jamie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Joel?
How's it going, Jamie? I don't know what to call you no more. Jamie, Jimmy, Jaime, what's your name?
Jaime.
Okay, because it's new every time.
Yeah. Hey, happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month.
You know, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a woman to take accountability.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough for sure.
Sure, for sure. Well, hey, what were we talking about?
Wait,
man, it was so long that what was I going to talk about?
You forgot? You said on the here it says women jobs and men jobs.
Oh yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so there's women have 60% the strength of men. Okay, and that's like grip strength. Women have 2/3 the grip strength of a man. Okay. So construction work is a man's job. Road work, that means like road work, and landscaping is a man's job. Oil drilling is a man's job.
Yeah.
Dock work is a man's job. Now, there are women that do that. They don't last long, meaning they don't do it for very long.
Yeah.
Or they're more secretarial. A woman's job is more secretarial. Not a lot of heavy labor.
Yeah.
Pencil pushing, you know?
And there's nothing
wrong with that.
Exactly. And let me just say really quick is that it's not even, and because people take this stuff, men's job and women's job, so literal. And it's not even about that. These are just jobs that men are more inclined to do. Just because, like you said, they're stronger. They have a stronger grip. They can do these type of things. And also, they have a stamina to last longer in these certain type of things. And it's just all of those things play a part. And this is just naturally, by design, these are just what men are more capable than women are. So it's just, and there's jobs vice versa that women do that men prefer not to. So it has nothing to do with, oh, he's manly and he think he better and all that stuff. But anyway, go ahead.
And like a barista is a woman's job, more of a woman's job. Like even like a young man, 16, 17, should probably maybe can do that. But then as they get bigger and stronger, a man should be doing man's work.
You're not helping me out. You're not helping me out here, Jaime.
And
because you're doing. I'm saying like manly job, men do men's job, women do men's job, and then you throw out examples like, women should be Starbucks, and it's not helping.
Yeah, or a
it's
nurse.
A dig.
Nurse. There are some nurse jobs though, like lifting up the elderly so that you can clean under them and all that. They got machines, so women can do that job. Men don't have to do it anymore. Men can do other jobs. But women want to be a CEO. What? Men don't even want to be CEO. I don't want to be a CEO.
Thank you.
Stuck behind a desk pushing pencils and stuff. But those people women want the fancy jobs with the fancy title, with the fancy pay, without having to do the work.
And I agree.
That's not the way.
Go ahead.
That's not the way life is, and life shouldn't be that way.
I agree, Jaime. And the thing is that women really don't want these jobs. What they want is the glory. They want the glory that they think that they see men get for doing these certain things. And then they realize that the glory doesn't exist in them for those things. But here's one thing I'll say really quick to make your point as well, is that, like, because you make a great point, is that men don't even sit out here and really want to just be hard workers. That's not a man's dream. I want to be a hard worker. That's not what a man's dream is. But women and men only work because we're good at it, and when we do it, there's results from it. But it's part of the curse. It's part of Adam and Eve not listening to God is why we have to labor and the sweat of our brow and stuff like that, right? But the point is that women want to do these things that men really don't even want to do. It's kind of what we have to do. And then the women are sitting up here, don't have to do it, have the freedom to, have an easygoing, light life, but yet they want to do the things that men really don't even want to do, and they want to do it. It's so jacked up, and they think that we're convinced by it. And it's like, no, it's clear that it's just out of anger, resentment, jealousy, and they get mad at you when you point it out. So it's just all backwards. What do you think?
Right. And if you think about that Secret Service lady, that head of the Secret Service lady, she wanted the glory of that job, because it is it's a snazzy job. You go on your resume, in the future, and you put that, you're going to get eyeballs on you.
Exactly.
But she couldn't handle it. She couldn't keep the reins on. I know there's a lot of more moving parts, but she's the head, the leader. Everybody under you is supposed to go, take your leadership.
Yeah.
And to leave a mess like that is not very glorious anymore.
Exactly.
And that kind of trauma, I messed up. I messed up on a few jobs, here and there. And I was able to, bounce back and get back on the horse, as they say,
Yeah.
And women can't do that as well.
Yeah.
They're just built different.
Exactly. They're just built different, and it's not even a put down or anything. It's just that's just the reality.
With what you were saying about God, work being a curse. Work is not a curse. God made man to tend his garden. That's before the curse. When we were in the garden, we were to tend it.
Think so?
After the curse, God said, because of what you've done, cursed is the ground, and thistles it will bring. And you will eat by the sweat of your brow. So we had it easy, easy. But now, after we did what we did, we got thistle stuff we can't eat. It's harder now.
Interesting point.
So we were built for this, and the woman was built to help because she's lighter. She's
exactly
a lighter dude. It's like thinking you look at those big excavators with the big digging thing, right? That's men.
Yeah.
And women are more like what's that? A Geo Metro. Just for scooting around town. You know what a Geo Metro is, don't you?
No, I get your point. You're making. Yeah, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? That's the point I always try to make, is that you actually find yourself more at peace when the ladies just accept that that's the case. It ain't no less than, it ain't none of that. That's just the reality. And
the big problem that we're having now is that the feminists and the people that have fallen for the feminism are affirming each other. And then they get all screwed up in the head.
Yeah.
And they don't see correct as correct.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, right on. I mean, great points. Great points you make here. I like the idea of that it was lighter before the curse, and after the curse, it became harder. But thank God for Jesus coming back and restoring everything, so we can also go back to a light load and not having to stress out to bring the money in. So I appreciate it, Jaime. Thanks for calling in. And any last comments before I end the show here?
No, that's it. Have a good one.
All right, you as well.
Bye.
Great point, Jaime made. I don't know why I pushed away the mic, but great point Jaime made, and I'm gonna end the show, is that and I never looked at it like that, is that beforehand, I always thought that the curse came from, or men working came from the curse. God said, now you must work because you disobeyed me. I always thought working came from the curse, but it makes sense what the way Jaime explains it, is that the man was always working, but it wasn't at the sweat of the brow, or it wasn't so hard. It was just a light work. And I see that so much in, for one, JLP has a book called The 7 Guaranteed Steps. It's like 12 pages, if that, so little, but it talks about the simple way of going about life. And the burden is light, and it's a beautiful thing. But men are taught to hustle hard, put that work in, and sometimes it's okay to, put some work in. But the burden should always be light, right? And the burden is light when you just do what's in front of you to do, not have this big old plan and goal and this list of things that you got to get done in a certain time. That's stress. It's not light. That's a burden. And I imagine when the curse happened, that's how people were living. But now that Jesus came back and restored all things, we should go back to just doing what's in front of us to do and keeping the burden light. And from that is when we'll receive all things. We won't be stressed out. The men won't have to slave at their job. All that stuff is not needed when you're just doing what's in front of you to do. So 100%, Jaime, that made sense to me when you said it. But anyway, I gotta end. Shout out to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm gonna read some of you guys' comments here in a second, but I gotta end. I've been here for 2 hours. My time is up, and I don't want to be greedy. Nobody's coming in until 4 p.m. today, but I'm not gonna be greedy. American Anchor Baby coming in 4 p.m. Make sure you tune in to his stream. He's going to be on the plane, I think. So make sure you tune in to him. Punchy TV, make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow, because we got some content for y'all. You ain't ready. Make sure you subscribe. The Hake Report, Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Joel Friday TV, all across the board. Y'all are amazing. Amazing calls. Thank you for the super chats. All that good stuff. I gotta go, y'all. Until next time, I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm not here tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday. 11 a.m. Pacific time. Bye.